Thank you for joining us for our next instalment of Landlord Inventory FAQs. It's produced in collaboration with our friends and partners at InventoryBase. And Sian at InventoryBase has kind of curated all the top questions that she gets asked by landlords. And we're producing these little information bursts to help you understand the inventory process. And today's question, Sian, very important because compliance comes in a lot into the inventory process. It's auditing the property and proving that the compliance measures are in place. And specifically today, smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. There's kind of a lot of confusion about whose responsibility they are and what happens after the tenant moves in. So perhaps you could clarify that.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, the provision of the alarms is definitely the landlord's responsibility. So in a very short nutshell, a property should have smoke alarms for every single story within the property, and carbon monoxide alarm should certainly be installed where there is any solid burning fuel units in the property, like your stoves, open fires. Most landlords, certainly in my experience, actually install carbon monoxide alarms near boilers as a matter of course. I think that's great. I know there's a consultation going through at the moment in regards to making that mandatory, but that's still not been actually agreed as yet. So at least that we know that landlords are taking their responsibilities seriously. But where the issue seems to lie is once a tenant is in and on the first day of the tenancy, the alarms are meant to be checked, make sure they're emitting an audible tone. At that point, then the tenants take that over. So for argument's sake, if the units are battery driven, then if the battery's failed, then the tenant is expected to replace those. But if it's a fixed wired unit, so therefore it's attached to the main circuit board, then that's something that the landlord will be responsible for in regards to the maintenance side. Often they come with a battery backup and it will start bleeping when they are about to fail. So it gives a good indication to the tenant that they need to do something. But something we do, certainly when we check tenants in, we make sure we let them know that they really should be testing the alarms every 2 weeks. Pressing the test button, making sure they get an audible alarm, or if they're hearing beeps or they're not hearing beeps and it's not testing, then they need to let the landlord know straight away. And certainly this is an important part of the interim inspection. A landlord should be checking these alarms each and every interim inspection. So if you're doing them every 3 months or every half yearly, or wherever you're doing those, to make sure that they are still working. Because I have found that some certainly sealed units like lithium batteries that are meant to have a 10-year lifespan aren't lasting as long. So, what we don't want is tenants relying on the fact that they've tested at the beginning of the tenancy, and then 12 months or 2 years later on, they haven't ever bothered testing them. And then when they need them, they're not working, they're not going to potentially save lives. So certainly during the interim inspection, it should be whoever's doing the interim inspection, that should be done. And then what we do, certainly from my point of view, my own business point of view, is I encourage all of the agents and landlords to check again at checkout. That way, then there's plenty of time to get the property fit, ready and safe for the next void, especially if we're only talking 1 or 2 days, which often happens between the old tenant leaving and the new one. So the better armed you are in regards to information at the checkout, then it will make the landlord's life a lot easier.
Well, it's absolutely brilliant to hear your tips from all your years of training and being part of the inventory industry, Sian. Thank you very much. And, we cannot underestimate or understate the importance of tenants' health and safety and well-being. And as we all know, in the private rented sector, the buck stops with the landlord.